We're going to start with the punch. Wike Okowa face panel today. Camps fight over Atiku's VP slot. Ekiti governor's candidates sign peace accord. NSCDC deploys 9,747 personnel. Rivers woman sells sister's baby for 600,000 naira. Police arrest suspects. Experts call for action as monkeypox spreads to 15 states. Or massacre. Senate demands raid on killers' hideouts. Helicopter drones deployment. Extend voter registration deadline. Reps urge INEC. Buhari okays TCN on bundling. NERC orders 5,000 megawatts delivery by July 1st. Our lawyers are studying judgment on $1.7 billion Malibu scam case, says federal government. And 70 airlines failed in Nigeria. 3 may collapse soon, says AON. All right, let's start with the major headline. Who has our story? Wike?
So yeah, I have it, but I won't take in another story. Okay. But let me go with the Senate. So the Senate yesterday condemned the June 5 terrorist attack on St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, in Ondo State, which left about 40 persons dead and many others hospitalized. So the lawmakers observed a 1-minute silence in memory of the victim, and they are asking security agencies to intensify efforts to investigate the matter with a view to bringing the perpetrators to book. They are also urging the agencies to deploy drones, helicopters to monitor the forest and ungoverned areas in Nigeria so that they can identify illegal camps of bandits throughout the country. So the Red Chamber, they said they are urging security agencies to try as much as possible to gather intelligence in a discreet and organized form at a local government and state level nationwide. And they were saying that all these sort of massacres is, if we're not careful, could be a trigger to inter-religious conflicts and ethnic war in the country. So we need to be really careful. And they were trying to admonish religious leaders to say that they need to stop inciting their followers through their religious messages in places of worship, because this can pose a significant security threat to the country. And one thing is sure, that they are trying everything within their power to ensure that they protect citizens in the country. And wherever they come into like a breach, then they will tell us that they need help.
Okay, so I'll take the Rivers woman, who police, they smashed a syndicate. The child, the mother of the child, Peace Emmanuel, had reported her daughter, her 5-year-old daughter, missing. They traced it to Omagwa. The case was reported at the Omagwa police station. The
Imo State.
Pardon?
In Imo State.
In Imo State. But anyway, they found the child. It was the mother's sister that had stolen the child and sold her for 600,000 naira. Wow. And so they've arrested her. But then there was another guy, what was his name? Messiah Wisdom, who used to lure girls, invite girls to his house, drug them, make love to them, video them, and threaten them with the sum of 1 million, or risk the videos going viral. They've arrested him too. They've arrested another kidnapping syndicate where they used to buy AK-47s. So they posed as people who wanted to buy the rifles, and they sold them. They gave them 1.3 million. They came on a boat. Right. Anyway, they arrested them and recovered the money. But the third person with the boat escaped.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, I read that story as well. And when they talked about that Messiah Wisdom, who lures girls to his room, takes and makes a video of them, it was described as he invites the girls to his house, drugs them, make love to them, and video them. Please, the proper thing should be rapes them.
Not make love.
Rapes them and then takes a video and uses the video to blackmail.
The editor should have corrected that.
I don't understand.
It's just devil's... what do you call it?
Okay, so I have
another story.
Yes, monkeypox. So medical experts are warning that we're so complacent concerning the monkeypox. NCDC has reported that the thing has spread to about 15 states in Nigeria right now, and that it seems that this system, this way that we're so complacent until maybe some foreign country picks up, the campaign to bring awareness and sensitize people before Nigeria does the same, and saying that Nigeria should do a better job of informing people, telling people how this this virus moves from one person to the other. They say, first of all, it's from animals to man, but very close. If you're in very close proximity with someone that has it, you can get it. Respiratory fluids also, you can get that maybe through coughs, you know, bodily fluids also, you can catch that. And it's important that our government put this front and center so people are aware and take the proper precautions, you know, to prevent them catching this.
I've tried to make you people aware on this table, but you seem to still want to eat bushmeat.
It's Nima.
It's Nima. When you say Nima, tell Nima. Let's move on to... So the Power Minister has confirmed that they will be unbundling the TCN. If you recall, they had the unbundling done where it was privatized for the discos. Since then, the TCN, people have actually have requested that the TCN, the transmission company, also be privatized. And that had fallen on deaf ears for many years. But now the Power Minister confirmed that they've reached advanced stage in ensuring that it's being unbundled into two entities. They've not told us exactly when it's be official, but now we know confirmed for sure that it's been unbundled. Also, they're saying that they've also increased under the contract with the discos are now allowed, they're not allowed to buy less than 5,000 megawatts. So they also confirmed that they will be allowing 5,000 megawatts electricity to customers across the country. Before, we used to have much lower than that. But now, by July 1st, they've confirmed to us that they'll be generating up to 5,000 megawatts for distribution across the country, which is good news. Although we are still far behind. Many countries are doing 30,000 megawatts, but at least we're moving forward. Okay, let's move on to the nation. Last-minute intrigues in PDP over Atiku's running mate. Issues in varsity union strike complicated, says minister. Our monarch to invoke curses on Catholic Church and attackers. PDP orders shun Ekiti Peace Pact signing. Aviation fuel hits 714 naira per litre as petroleum queues return. Court jails Mama Boko Haram 2 years for 71 million naira fraud. And Oyo Assembly slams misconduct charges against deputy governor. Okay.
Major headline, please. So there's a form of anxiety in the People's Democratic Party, PDP, over the choice of the running mate to the presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar. And, you know, I think they have just about 24 hours to submit the person who they are going to be projecting.
Yes, tomorrow, yeah.
And yesterday I took the story where they had set up an ad hoc committee, and that committee picked Wike to be the running mate. But now it seems like they are going to have to rescreen Wike. They have mentioned the names of the people who are going to be handling that in the National Advisory Council. And they said, so some observers are wondering why they have to rescreen him when he had already, you know, been voted. Because it was a voice vote that was used, and he got, I think, about 16 out of 20. Right. So people are wondering, why are they
How did they count the voice vote 16 out of 20?
That was the report that they gave yesterday. Yeah, it's fine. So people are now wondering why they have to rescreen him. But then they have set up another panel that will be rescreening him. So hopefully we'll see by the end of today or tomorrow.
Yeah. By tomorrow, all of them. In fact, I was saying they will all submit by tomorrow. 17th is the deadline.
All the
politicians do things a bit weird. I would have thought maybe when you do your primaries, the one that gets the highest, then the second highest should be the running mate.
No, but they have intrigues. Yeah.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
There's a lot of intrigue.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Nation. Mariam, you had a story you wanted to take?
Yes. So this is just in addition to the story that BC took. So this is about the Owo killings. But today, the Olowo of Owo, Oba Ajibade Badegasin Ogonoye III, has fixed today to invoke curses on those who killed and injured worshippers at St. Francis Catholic Church in the ancient town. So people had heard about it, and there's been news going around that there may be shutdown of business or traffic, but he's saying that everybody can go on with their business, that just the areas that will be used, people can still use those areas, just that traffic will be a lot more restricted, but you can go on with your business. There are also other traditional leaders that were speaking concerning this. The Oli Jebu of Ijebu-Owo in Ondo State has said that the 300 policemen that have been posted to provide security to that community is insufficient, and that this is the time to really look into community policing. And also the Niger Delta leader, Dr. Julius Baboga, has blamed the killing in Owo on our lackadaisical attitude of the federal government's attitude towards towards protecting citizens. I mean, that's what we always talk about, that we don't feel like the federal government or the parastatals that's supposed to do the job of protecting Nigerians are really doing the best that they can.
All right, Mikey.
So in Ekiti, the Ekiti elections are this weekend, I believe, and so they come together to form a peace accord so that there is no fighting. But 6 political parties didn't turn up. The PDP, the Accord Party, Labour Party, African Action Congress, and the Allied People's Movement. Also the Young Progressive Party, they didn't turn up and they didn't send representatives, but the others were there to sign.
All right,
the peace accord. So
let me take Mama Boko Haram. For those of you that remember, Mama Boko Haram was a woman, Aisha Wakil, if you knew her then. She was a woman who, according to her, she knew many of the Boko Haram as children. So she practically raised quite a number of these people, and she used her relationship with them at the time to broker peace and deals, and of course then they found that she also used it to help them with weapons and purchase and all that. So finally, the Maiduguri court has sentenced Aisha Wakil, which is popularly known as Mama Boko Haram, to 5 years jail term, 5 years prison for the 71.4 million naira fraud. They also convicted 2 others, Tahiru Saidu Faura and Prince Lawal Shoyode. Also, both of them, so the 3 of them have been sentenced to 5 years, part of which is what they've been doing, say some 1.4 million naira fraud, working with Boko Haram. But if you remember, that story broke a few years back.
I think she used to be like an intermediary.
She used to be there. That's what we thought. She was an intermediary.
But then she had...
But I guess
if she was involved in buying weapons for them, is 2 years or 5 years enough?
Not enough.
You know, if that is what the case is, or is it that she collected money for ransom
she's
and
convicted for fraud. So it wasn't here. So good. So that's a specific charge here. So I don't know if it was actually for the weaponry issue, but it's more of the fraud that was covered in the papers. So let us leave it at that. Okay, let's move on now to Daily Sun. VP slot APC PDP under pressure as deadline expires. Reps move to override Buhari's veto on amended Electoral Act. Presidency, Ohaneze weighs options. Ekiti, I didn't meet Tinubu, anybody to compromise my candidacy, says Oni. Akwa Ibom, REC calls Akpabio's primary election victory Nollywood fantasy. 2023, I'll work for Tinubu the same way I worked for Lawan, says Kalu. And 24 lawmakers initiate impeachment move against Oyo deputy governor. Okay, which story are we starting with in Daily Sun?
Ohaneze and Igbo are saying that they are still weighing, excuse me, their options for the Southeast ahead of the 2023 presidential elections. So the former Anambra State Governor and Chairman Igbo Elders Consultative Forum, Chukwuemeka Ezeife, said yesterday that the push for the president of Nigeria from the Southeast was still on course. And although the 2 major political parties, APC and PDP, had selected and failed to elect a Southeasterner as their flag bearer, it's still very possible that other political parties may decide to go that way. So he says that he's also suspecting that the PDP may not go in favor of a Southeasterner as a vice president, but hope is not all lost. After all, there's a Peter Obi who dumped the PDP and had clinched the Labour Party ticket and is already making waves across the country. However, the National Publicity Secretary of the Apex Igbo Sociocultural Organization, Dr. Alex Obonia, had told The Sun that the group was waiting for all the political parties to conclude fielding their presidential candidates before deciding on who to support. So in a few days, they will know where all the political parties are. And they're saying also that this is the time for a leader from the Igbo extraction. That idea has come, and everybody must pool resources together to support a Southeasterner.
Okay, there's another story in Daily Sun. I was going to take the story. Oji Uzor Kalu said he pledged his support for the APC. According to him, it was very clear that the former governor of Lagos, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, won the primaries, and now he must align to ensure the victory. And is confident that Southeast will also vote for the APC. He says that I'll always take my stand on any issue, whether I agree or disagree. I've accepted that Bola Tinubu won the whole party, then the whole party has also agreed to his victory. And there's no doubt about his victory. Therefore, we shall all align to ensure the party's victory in the Southeast. Okay, any other story in
Yeah,
fun?
I didn't copy it, but let me see if I can remember from my brain. Akpabio, you know, after he lost the presidential election, he went back to Akwa Ibom to go and contest for the Senate. But they had already had the primaries, but they went and said there was a rerun. So the rec of the REC of Michael Igini, I think is his name, has said that it's a Nollywood fantasy, that the only way he can have a rerun is
if it was part of the first.
If it was part of the first election, and if the candidates that won said that I'm not doing again. So they had a rerun. The candidates that won the first one was not there. He didn't show up, and he got 480-something votes. That's Akpabio. But the guy of INEC say, you are not, it's fantastic.
All right, let's move on. Okay, let's move on to Vanguard. Vice President Shettima is top running mate choice in APC, says source. Poor generation vandalism, others responsible for grid collapses, federal government. We borrow to pay salaries, says AGF. Club shooting, Burna Boy finally speaks, says, I'm not shocked. Army finds Chibok schoolgirl in Borno 8 years after abduction. Strike, ASU, issue more complicated than Nigerians think, says federal government. Abuja, Kaduna train attack. Freed victims, mentally unstable families cry out. Rumblings over Nigerian judges' poor pay. An aviation fuel price. 3 airlines to shut down in days, says AON, raises alarm. Okay.
Yeah, so the families of the victims of the kidnapped, of the train, the Abuja-Kaduna train that was attacked, 11 of them have been released. We already have that story. But the families of the 11 that have been released say that the state in which their family members are in is quite sad. Many of them are still traumatized. They say they're sick, they're in hospitals, and, you know, still unstable and trying to recover themselves emotionally and mentally. And they're insisting and asking, first of all, thanking the federal government and all stakeholders in the release of this 11 on the 77th day after the abduction. But they're saying that there are 15 more victims still in captivity and that we should not give up. Federal government should not give up. They should do all that they can to get those ones out. I mean, these ones are out on the 77th. For those ones that are still in captivity, we cannot imagine the state in which they're in. And one of the family members gave an account of her own sister who was abducted with her brother. She was released, but her brother was still held. There. And they said when she heard about it, she just couldn't stop crying. So federal government, please, let's keep working hard to make sure that the other members are released.
Any other story?
Yes, so the federal government said yesterday that the issues concerning the ongoing strike by ASU and the other 3 universities and unions is not as simple as people think. So they had, according to the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, they had a FEC meeting, and at the end of the day, he had to brief correspondents. And he was telling them that the federal government had approved and established e-learning centers for primary schools across the 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory. So they asked him a question saying that how can you be thinking of e-learning platforms across the states when you have not sorted the issues of ASU? And he says that the issues of ASU are beyond what we know or what we think, but that they cannot allow primary schools and secondary schools to suffer because that e-learning platform was basically for primary and secondary schools. So they can't stop their education because they're still finding ways to negotiate with ASU. And he also said that the federal government is still worried about the fact that the schools are still on strike. They are doing everything within their power, and that's one of the reasons they've been setting up committees after committees to try and negotiate and make sure that these students go back to school. But they cannot pause on the primary school education just because of what is happening. So I wanted to take quickly what they did for the primary school. So the Minister of Education saw the approval from the Council for the award of contracts for the provision of a satellite-based education system for 109 e-learning centers across the 36 states of the Federation. They said the contract was for 964 million, and it was in favor of MES-NAS navigation. Now, the scope of the project is to provide satellite-based education system for about 4,360 users in the 109 senatorial district. So this will cut, I think, about 3 schools in each state will have these satellite centers for e-learning.
Take the Chibok.
So you want to check the I'll take Bana, but you take the Chibok.
Okay.
Okay, then he's just a very short, he just took to his Twitter handle yesterday to say if they say Bana boys started Boko Haram, he will not be shocked. That is in relation to what happened. That's all.
Yeah, and just to also confirm, they said the police command said they don't have he's not a fugitive.
Yes.
They never said that we had to confirm with
they
the
said
Lagos State.
with Lagos
CP.
State.
Yes. Troops found a lady that they believe is one of the schoolgirls that was abducted by Boko Haram in the Chibok community. Her name, they say her name is Mary Ngoshe. They found her with her son. They found her June 14th, that's a few days ago. And they believe she's one of the abducted girls from GGSS Chibok in 2014. And that's all they said about her. There's a picture of her and her child. I hope that we have data to confirm things like this.
The picture,
since
she looks so sad.
Yeah, since she was gotten from a school, we hope they have all the pictures and names of people who
We really do. All right, let's go on a quick break now. When we come back, we invite Roland Properties. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.